Gear 5 might be Luffy's greatest transformation, but it is not his greatest power. That power is freedom, in the way he fights, in his refusal to control the people around him, and in the openings he creates for others to resist. I call that pattern contagious freedom. That is an editorial description, not a supernatural power, and it began long before Gear 5. Episode 1071 reveals that the power the world knew as the Gum Gum Fruit is actually the mythical Zoan, human fruit, model Nika. The five elders admit that the world government concealed its identity. That cover-up is canon. Reading it as an authoritarian system, fearing a symbol of freedom is interpretation. But it is an interpretation the story earns. The fruit carries the name of a figure associated with liberation, and the government decided that name was too dangerous for the world to know. Before Gear 5 throws a single punch, its history tells us this power threatens more than one opponent. It threatens the idea that the world's rules are permanent. In episode 1072, Luffy bounces, turns gigantic, changes scale without warning, and attacks Kaido with a rhythm that feels impossible to predict. Gear 5 does not simply make him stronger, it gives his improvisation a physical form. A battlefield built around force, fear, and control suddenly has to obey someone who treats every fixed rule like a suggestion. The laughter matters. The elastic movement matters. Even the absurdity matters. Because Luffy is no longer fighting in the emotional language Kaido understands. He makes freedom visible. Calling that Toon Force misses the point. And treating it as unlimited power goes too far. Gear 5 still has costs, and Kaido remains dangerous. Its real advantage is that Luffy refuses the shape the fight is supposed to take. He finds openings because he can imagine movement where everyone else sees a wall. Alabasta proves the pattern existed before anyone called Luffy Nika. Crocodile has trapped a country inside a lie, and Vivi has spent years trying to save her people from the war built around it. Luffy cannot repair that country for her. What he can do is confront the man, making every peaceful solution impossible. So, he fights Crocodile, while Vivi, the Straw Hats, and the people of Alabasta fight on their own fronts. That difference is the heart of Luffy's role. He does not seek the throne after the battle. He does not remain behind to govern. He does not demand that Alabasta submit to him because he won. He removes the obstacle, then leaves the country to the people who actually belong to it. Vivi's agency is not a footnote to Luffy's victory. It is the reason the victory has meaning. Long before Gear 5 made freedom visible, Luffy was already fighting in a way that returned choice to everyone else. Dressrosa escalates the pattern. Doflamingo controls the country through fear, violence, and a lie maintained for years. Luffy delivers the final defeat, but Dressrosa is not rescued by one fist. Law's alliance, the fighters inside the birdcage, the citizens pushing back, and the people who later shield the Straw Hats from Fujitora all turn survival into a shared act. They do not kneel to Luffy afterward. They choose to help him. Wano makes that truth impossible to ignore. Luffy defeats Kaido, but he reaches that victory because an entire rebellion keeps moving around him. The samurai fight. The Straw Hats and allied pirates hold their battles. Yamato holds Kaido back. Momonosuke prevents Onigashima from crushing the flower capital. Luffy is essential, but he is not a single-handed savior. He breaks the strongest obstacle, while everyone else creates the victory with him. And once that obstacle falls, he does not claim Wano. He does not demand submission. He leaves its future to the people who fought for it. Luffy's alliance with Trafalgar Law lasts across Punk Hazard, Dressrosa, and Wano. But Law never stops being his own captain. Their cooperation is not submission. After Dressrosa, 7 crews form the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, and Luffy still resists becoming the kind of commander who owns their loyalty. They follow anyway, on their terms. That is why his influence feels different from ordinary power. Luffy does not build obedience. He makes trust possible. Rivals, former enemies, and fiercely independent crews can stand beside him without surrendering who they are. He wants to become Pirate King, but not because he wants everyone beneath him. To Luffy, that title means being the freest person on the sea. The closer people get to him, the more room they seem to have to choose for themselves. Freedom does not replace strength. It does not replace haki, endurance, recovery, food, protection, allies, or the local resistance movements that were already fighting before Luffy arrived. He loses. He reaches exhaustion. Other people keep him alive long enough to return. Gear 5 does not erase those costs. And Luffy is not the single-handed savior of Alabasta, Dressrosa, or Wano. Treating him that way would shrink every person who risks something beside him. His strength matters, because it can break an obstacle others cannot break alone. Their strength matters, because no liberation survives without people ready to carry it forward. Luffy does not make collective victory unnecessary. He makes it possible. Gear 5 is the perfect image of Luffy's freedom, but it is not where that freedom began. Alabasta proved the pattern. Dressrosa expanded it. Wano pushed it to its greatest scale. His real power is not freeing everyone himself. It is making freedom actionable. He removes the obstacle, refuses the throne, and leaves people free to decide what happens next. Vault classification. Liberation event. Who should enter the character vault next?